Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dreams of owning a home or investing in one. So the case study that I'm going to tackle right now is involving Akon. Many of you know he's building a city in Senegal, and he has been promoting it primarily to African Americans to come back and live, to come back and visit and tour as tourists. Recently, though, his business partner, one of his partners, Devin Stevens, he's accusing Akon of breaching a settlement agreement that they had. He's also breaching them, also suing regarding royalties owed. And he says that this whole thing is a money-raising scheme. You see, Devin apparently lent Akon in the implementation of this city project. So I was like, man, I'm really disappointed because, as some of you know, I've actually seen Akon. I went to Web Summit where he spoke about this. So this is something that, I really wanted to work. I said to myself, well, he's had some successes already. He already owns a solar lighting company in Africa that is in 14 countries over there. In addition, he owns a diamond mine in South Africa. And of course, he's a successful musician and what have you. So I just wanted something to turn out right. And things seem like at this moment that they're not going all that well. Well, due to this, they're also saying in the documents that they believe that this is also a scam because there's been no transparency. Now, I have to admit, when I looked online and I went to the website, it was just really a marketing brochure. I really didn't see much as far as numbers, but I just figured, well, since I'm not an investor in a particular project, that maybe one comment that, in that case, I would see everything. But this person is actually involved in the project and saying there's no transparency. So I'm a bit. Also, another issue is the city that he created is supposed to be running on something called a coin. Well, he established that. Many people bought into it, but the value of that coin went down significantly. So what he did was they promised that they would return the money to everybody who bought that coin. But unfortunately, from what I have seen online, people have not gotten any money back, right? Now, the reason why they may not have gotten their money back is because his assets are frozen due to this particular lawsuit, right? In addition, other investors on his team, they're also being sued. So that may be why nobody's gotten their money back, right? Now, as far as the coin is concerned, they're claiming that the reason why it devalued was because of the new restrictions in Senegal regarding trading crypto. That may be the case, but it's still a sad situation. The other issue is that the site in which the city is supposed to be built only has one foundation stone and the rest is just grass. So, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough for me. But I'll have to admit, right now things are not looking all that great. I didn't really expect too much progress though, because number one, of COVID, which he admits slowed him down, and I definitely understood that, and give him grace for that. I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around this being a scam, because of the fact that the plans that were submitted to the Senegalese government were approved. He has the license for it. He also went to the people of Senegal and he got their blessings. Plus, they submitted plans to him. So, needless to say, I was very hopeful about this, this whole situation. But now things are looking a bit bleak. I just hope that eventually things will turn around. So anyway, let me come back and just, share with you guys what I see in the fund, or what I see in the project that I like, and what I might not necessarily be too crazy about, besides the lawsuit. Okay? So, what I saw when I was at the summit was that many of the partners, I thought, that they would be black, and unfortunately, they're not. I mean, I'm kind of okay with it, but for more Africans and African Americans and just Africans from the diaspora to be on board, right? That was not necessarily the case. The lead investor, though, is African. The lead investor, he was not there, but his name is Julius Mwali. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. He's a Kenyan entrepreneur. Then the others, actually the person that's suing him is also of African descent. I'm not sure if he's African though, British or American. All right. Now the next thing is, when it comes to the credit line, he said China was the one that gave him the credit line he needed. Another thing was like, well, why? Well, it's I'm glad that they are helping out. I'm glad that they're investing, but it would have been great if he could have gotten that credit line on the continent. But it speaks to the fact that many of the nations on the continent are not developed enough to even offer that. That part to me is sad. That part to me is sad. The other reason, too, why I thought things would turn around, I still have a little hope, even if he doesn't spearhead it and someone else steps in to finish the project. I still have hope that this can be pulled off, honestly. Because Uganda actually asked Akon to duplicate that same city ideal in their country. Okay? So that's what says, okay, there must be some hope. There must be something that I can hold on to. But you know what? If things are not good, I have to admit to that. I have to own up to it. I can't deny it, right? Here are some other things too that we may want to look into, as far as, will this ever be completed? All right. So when I look at the country of Senegal, I see that the infrastructure is actually pretty good, but it does need some improvement. All right. So it's not perfect. All right. Now, on another situation that was brought up was that the architect of the city is actually not from Africa. He's actually from Dubai. And the thing is that this futuristic city, this smart city that they want to build, this is not the only, as we speak, are others that are being built. And they've always run into a problem when they hire architects that are not native to the land. You see, here's the thing. Now, I have been to Senegal, really on a stopover. What I found that it is extremely, extremely hot. Okay, it that heat is something else. So the materials that are being used, that are being implemented, I'm not sure if taken into a fact into when it comes to the design, the overall design and building of the properties that they want to put in there, because the design is extremely futuristic. It's not and very modern. It's not your typical African structure, and the thing is that you got to be careful trying to use Western design in a country where the soil is different and the weather is different. You can't make the assumption that it's going to stand up. Now, I understand that tests right now are being performed on the soil. They also have to conform to zoning and looking at different other studies and getting their licensing in place, which I think is beautiful, which I think is great. But I have a feeling that maybe that should have been done first before the architect came and put his design on paper. I think they may know, or they may find later on, that some of those designs are going to have to be modified, right? Because see, what Akon wanted was for the city to mirror Wakanda from the movie Black Panther. We're not sure as of this point if it can look exactly like it, right? So that's an issue that will definitely, it's a hurdle that they'll definitely have to look into. Okay, the other issue, of course, or issues with this particular this is the fact many of the people who live in Senegal, a vast majority of them, are so, having the city, building the city will give them jobs, which is a great thing. However, after it's finished being built, what jobs are those people? Are those jobs still going to be there, or will they disappear? Right? So I think that maybe a little bit more thought needs to go into it, because that, for many of the property that's there, you can't make it all quote unquote affordable, because and his investors will not get their money back. And people don't invest in property so that they don't get anything. You're going to either make a profit or you're going to get some tax breaks. Now, I know that there are some tax breaks that are already being offered, but is the tax break even worth it? You understand? So I know that they're going to have to make some luxury units. They may even make more luxury than, and I know they're doing middle income. I didn't really see too much as far as affordability, but that is that they're going to have to look into, and that they are going to have to figure out. But they have not really given any numbers, or they haven't given enough numbers. Like just telling me, okay, the site is 2,000 acres. That's not enough. We need to know Um, yes, I think we were told that it was what, $60 billion was given to build it. Okay, but there needs to be a breakdown of how much those things are going to cost, because in me doing two gut rehabs on two properties, I know that the price they tell you is not the price that it's actually going to eventually be, right? It may be double or triple that amount, especially since this is going to be a city, right? The other thing is, I do believe that the project is a little bit too ambitious, because Akon says it's going to be finished in 10 years. Well, we had COVID, we had a shutdown, so with 8 years left and you only have a stone, you might need to double that amount. When you look at how long it takes the average city to be built, the average city takes about 50 years to complete. Okay? So, and since things have slowed down tremendously, it may take a little bit more than that. So that's where the project is a little bit ambitious. Okay? Then the other thing too that Akon has said that I want you guys to be very, very careful of is, he was saying that every African American, if they come back to Africa, they will be a millionaire. Guys, I've been to Africa. I know myself, if I were to go, for me, it would be extremely profitable, because I have that kind of mind and because I have that talent. But every African American does not have that mind, does not have that talent. First of all, I have seen on different Back to Africa, Pan-African videos, people always are asking questions like, well, do they have Section 8 over there? Do they have welfare? And I'm like, oh, yeah, no. Okay, that particular person that's looking already for that kind of handout, that person is not going to be a millionaire. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. It's only going to happen for, and I'm going to say this, for a select few. For a select few of us. Many of us can move back and be very comfortable. We may not ever necessarily be of millionaire status, but to say all of us, that was a little bit too broad and too general. And when he said that we could build a Fortune 500 company in 5 years, again, that's pushing it. That's pushing it, because there's a lot of studies that you have to perform before you even get your plan up and running. Okay? And if that was the case, then the people living in that country, there would be more people on top and less people who were impoverished, right? So you do have to take his words with a grain of salt. All right. That's basically my feeling on the situation. I'm still, I just want it to work. I want something to work. All right, Africa, because I'm about to be next month. And man, for most of my life, Africa has been struggling. There's been like incredibly high amounts of poverty, even in countries and cities that are out there where they're doing really well. Like, I love South Africa. I love Cape Town. It's beautiful. You have multi-million-dollar homes out there. You have businesses and the whole nine. And I know I can make it out there. But there are shanty towns there that they drove me past them and I just broke down and cried. I couldn't take it at all. No. Mm-mm. No. Something has to be done. I want something to work. Okay, if you will. So, guys, what are your thoughts? Do you still have hope in this project? Or do you feel like the whole thing is a scam and we should just throw this all away? Like I said, me personally, I see both positive. I think it's unfortunate that he's being sued, but we got to deal with what's, what's in front of us, what we're seeing. They're really, to be honest, as far as the scam, as far as his partner saying it's a scam, they really haven't provided too much to let us know, like, well, what specifically makes him think it's a scam, or necessarily been, straightforward with it. But again, it goes back to transparency. In the United States, if you're not transparent with whatever investment that you have, people can sue you. And this is what we're seeing. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you tonight. Please share this amongst your friends. Remember, each one reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.